I became a product junkie. I just bought any and everything. And even during that time, I was becoming natural. So everything that I was buying for myself, trying this natural journey, I was putting in her hair. And I was like, wait a minute, like, is this stuff even kid friendly? Like, I'm just throwing in her hair because I noticed you walk down the aisles. There's an oversaturation of natural hair products, yes. But when it comes to kids specifically, they'll have like a small little show. And it'd be like the parent company of the women's natural hair company that has like the kids line. It's never something plant-based or, natural, organic, just formulated for children.
Welcome to the Friends in Beauty podcast, a safe space for ambitious beauty industry creatives to have real talk, get real answers, and practical tools to grow their businesses. My name is Aquia Robinson, and I'm a makeup artist, beauty educator, and the creator of Friends in Beauty. I created Friends in Beauty to support like-minded creatives just like you on their quest to connect, network, and build genuine relationships within the beauty community. Join me every week as me and my special guests reveal the keys to success and longevity in the beauty industry, and most importantly, have fun while doing it. You ready? Hey, what's up? It's your best friend in beauty, Aquia Robinson. Welcome back to another episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast. I am so happy to have you here, and I hope you're listening to this episode in high spirits and in good health. If you are a friend in beauty, I welcome you to join the Friends in Beauty Facebook community. If you're looking for a community of like-minded, ambitious friends in beauty to virtually connect with, network, and share resources, then click the link down below in the show description to join us in the Facebook community, and I'll be there to welcome you with open arms. Also, let's get social. Follow Friends in Beauty on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty. Additionally, the Friends in Beauty podcast is available on several platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google, YouTube, you name it, we are there. And whatever platform you are listening from right now, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into the Friends in Beauty podcast. I appreciate it more than you know. And I would love it even further if you took the time to leave a 5-star rating, a review, a like, a comment, a share, a subscribe, or something to let me know how you feel about the Friends in Beauty podcast. Additionally, Friends in Beauty is now on Patreon. So for as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends in Beauty podcast. And there are also several tiers available that unlock Patreon exclusive content just for you, like behind the scenes content of the Friends in Beauty podcast, bonus interview clips, a monthly Ask Me Anything, discounts, and so much more. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'll leave the link down below in the show description for that as well. Also, if you'd like to stay connected even further, join the Friends in Beauty mailing list tribe. They are the first to know about all things Friends in Beauty, and I send out different resources and tips throughout the week. So if that's something that you're interested in, join us over there. And last but not least, listen up. The most important thing is to share the Friends in Beauty podcast with your other friends in beauty, your family, your friends, anybody that you think could benefit from the information that is being shared. Share away to help me grow the Friends in Beauty community. Now, on this episode of the Friends in Beauty podcast, I welcome Cherlyn Carby, founder and CEO at Skylar J's LushUs Kids, to the Friends in Beauty guest chair. Cherlyn has a combined 20 years of experience in the legal and financial industry. As a working mom, Cherlyn struggled with finding kid-friendly products that were gentle on her daughter Ryan Skylar's hair. Like other moms, Cherlyn noticed her daughter battled skin psoriasis on her scalp and struggled to find natural solutions that would help with this condition. Cherlyn decided to create her own product line, which will offer other working moms the option of selecting a brand formulated for children that included natural and organic ingredients without the harsh chemicals to address skin psoriasis and eczema. Within 6 months, Cherlyn created a product line and built a team that would contribute to bringing LushUs Kids to the marketplace. Skylar J's LushUs Kids' mission is to always provide quality products that produce results. I had such a great conversation with Cherlyn, and I learned so much about the market for natural hair care for kids. In this interview, Cherlyn shares her first introduction to entrepreneurship, what inspired her to launch LushUs Kids, a glimpse into what production looks like behind the scenes, why it was important that LushUs Kids had intentional, natural, and organic ingredients, her natural hair care journey and thoughts on chemically processing kids' hair, how she balances her 9-to-5 and running the brand, what's next for LushUs Kids, and so much more. If you or someone that you know have been struggling to find all natural and organic hair care products for your children, then definitely tune in because you might want to give LushUs Kids a try. Let's go ahead and jump into this chat with Cherlyn, and if you prefer to watch our beautiful faces, then tune in on YouTube. Enjoy. Welcome to the Friends of Beauty podcast, Cherlyn.
Hi, glad to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you. I love your background, by the way. It looks really cute.
Thank you. I have my own personal backdrop with my brand. So
Yes.
yeah, I usually take it with me like when I go out and I do farmers markets or if I do a trade show. So it
Okay.
comes in handy. So I'm like, why not?
Yes, I
In my
love that.
house.
I need to get something like that. That's really cute.
Thank you.
Yes, love. So before we jump into the interview, I would love to start off with some icebreakers just to get us warmed up so the Friends of Beauty
Okay.
audience can get to know you a little bit outside of what you do for your brand.
Absolutely. I'm ready.
All righty. So the first one, just give us 3 random facts about you.
Okay. I am of Jamaican heritage. So my parents are Jamaican and I'm American. So that's one.
Okay.
2 is I am a PhD candidate pursuing my doctorate.
Okay.
My third fact would be that I have 2 beautiful children, one
Nice.
boy, one girl.
Can you speak patois?
A little bit.
My family, so I'm Jamaican as well. My family eats me up because I don't speak patois at all. Like
I know.
it might slip out.
Yeah. Because, in our household, our parents were speaking a patois and we understood it, but we never really did that because when we were going to school, we were speaking regular.
Right.
So understand it very well, can say a few words here and there, but I never have no long dialogue with it.
Exactly. Me either. My aunt teases me all the time. She's like, just say something. I'm like, no, see, that's what we're not going to do because I know y'all
Right.
tease
Because
me.
it ain't going to come out like y'all.
Exactly. You said you had 2 kids?
Yes.
Boy, girl?
My boy is 13 years old, Christian, and my daughter, Ryan Skylar, is 3 years old, which the brand is named after Skylar.
Yes, I love that. Oh my gosh. So I had these things called pod decks. I'm trying not to show my little band-aid, but it don't even matter. I had these things called pod decks, and one is a what the heck and a would you rather. Which one would you like?
Okay. What you rather?
Would you rather? Let's see.
Yes.
Let's give you a random card. Let's see. Nope, did that one, and it's terrible.
Okay. Is that bad?
Yeah, it was like, would you rather be covered in bees or spiders? Neither.
That reminds me of that show. I can't even remember it. The Fear Factor.
Oh yeah, that was a terrible show.
I know.
This one says, would you rather face a fork in the road or be forced to pick between 3 doors?
I think fork in the road because is 1 out of 2.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The probability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. What do people always tell you that you're good at aside from what you do professionally?
I'm a good cheerleader and just like in the general sense, like I'm always rooting for my family, my friends, even people I don't know. So I think encouragement is one of the biggest things that people say for me. You're always encouraging, you always have something positive. And me personally, I've always been the type of person who sees the glass half full, never half empty. So anytime anybody comes to me, I always approach a situation solution oriented opposed to problem oriented.
Yes, I love that. Oh, that's so sweet. When is the last time that you did something for the first time?
That's a really good question. The last time I did something for the first time. The last time for the first time I did 2 things this year. I hiked. I never hiked before in my life.
Hey.
And I hiked the same place 2 different times, obviously, the Hollywood sign.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I went to LA. I was blessed to go to LA twice this year,
Hmm.
March and July. And I hiked both. And I was just like, well, I never did this before. So it was so cool.
I love that. I love that. I've never been to LA before. It's so crazy because, like, as a makeup artist, people are like, you've never been to LA, but I've been to like San Francisco before, and going up those hills is like hiking.
Yep, yep.
But I
San
love
Fran is
hiking.
where I want to go. I've never been there before, so I'm looking forward to going to San Fran.
Okay, yeah, I love hiking. That's one of my favorite things to do for sure. What's the last place that you traveled to for vacation?
The last place I traveled to vacation would be DR this
Ooh,
summer. I
okay,
went to
how was
DR.
that?
Yeah, wonderful. Had a blast. I've never been to a lounge slash club that was in a cave. DR
Ooh,
has these caves and they turned it into a club, and
uh-huh.
each cave is its own music genre. Each cave has its own DJ.
I like that.
Amazing. Yes, it's so amazing.
Ooh,
I
I
loved
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. You was living it up. Which
No
one did
kids.
you enjoy
Yep.
the most?
No kids. Absolutely.
Which cave did you
Absolutely.
enjoy? Like which music?
I pretty much stayed in the reggae dance hall, Afro beat slash hip hop. That was one cave. And then they had the techno and then they had that. But yeah, hip hop and dance hall is
I
where I was.
love it. Sounds like my vibe.
Yep.
And the last one, if you weren't the CEO of LushUs Kids, is it LushUs?
Lush Us Kids. Yep. Us
Yes.
as in us. Yep.
Yes, I love that. If you weren't the CEO of LushUs Kids, what else
Mhm.
could you see yourself doing?
I always wanted to be like a professional dancer or some part of entertainment or acting or something like that. I would definitely want to be a part of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
entertainment.
I definitely need some training, but I always wanted to be like, not necessarily the Hollywood scene, but I always wanted to do entertainment.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, okay. So growing up as like first generation Jamaican, like how was that growing up? Did you have a lot of pressure on you to succeed?
Absolutely. I am the first person in my family to graduate college.
Mm,
So my parents have always been, and any parent, I'm sure, always wants their kid to go further than them, right? That's the whole goal. And I was the first in out of my siblings to graduate. And even though it wasn't that much pressure because it was something I always wanted to do, I
yeah,
knew it had to be done because I know the family that we come from and we're ambitious and we always go after what we want.
yeah,
So I knew that if that's what I wanted, that's what I was gonna go. And my parents always knew that I'm a go-getter. So they didn't worry about there was no outside pressure necessarily as it pertains to that.
right. Are you the oldest?
I am the middle child. So
Okay.
I have four of us. Three of us grew up in the same household. My older brother, and then I'm the only daughter by my mom, and then my younger brother. So it
Wow.
was three of us growing up together, but it's
Okay.
four total. Yeah, four
Okay.
siblings total.
Okay. Nice. What was your first introduction to entrepreneurship?
My dad, my dad, it was in my household the entire time.
Mm,
My dad and my mom met in New York. So it's not like they met each other and then moved the love story to New York. They met in New York.
excellent.
And from day one, my dad was always a musician, um, played professionally across the world. And in addition to that, he started his own distribution, right? So my dad's never worked for anybody ever in his life, ever, ever, ever. And even though I saw that, I I want to say I was more leaning towards what society was pushing. Go to college, get a degree, and work for somebody.
Right.
It was not until I was working in the corporations, I was paralegal, I was working as an investment analyst, and I was still trying to find an exit plan. And I
Mm,
was like doing any and anything like quick money to see what would hit, just throwing darts, see what would hit. And I was like, if I would have started this when I was younger, like right after college, I'd have been 10 years in the game now, but I didn't know of it like that. It was not until I was completely like had my kids, was on maternity leave. I was like, I don't want to be doing this. I want to work for myself.
right.
And I started reflecting on the example that was already in my household that I've seen growing up. It never clicked until later on in life, you
Right.
know? And I think maybe the past serious entrepreneurship, the past 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I want to do something. I never thought it would be this though.
Right,
I
right.
never planned this. This is all the Most High God. This, I never planned this.
It's so interesting. That's how things work out. Like we set out on our own plan, then somehow we
Absolutely.
end up, where we're supposed to be.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I saw that you're a serial entrepreneur as well. What was your first business that you had?
So my first business was a party rental business. It still is, right? So it is operated out of New York. So before I moved, because I'm a military civilian, so I work for the military. I still have my full-time job, you
Yes.
know. Um, the goal, right, is to be full-time entrepreneur. But right now I have my full-time job. I work for the military, and that's what brought me to Virginia.
Okay.
But prior to transitioning and literally just kind of picking up my kids and moving, I had already started a party rental business in New York. And when I moved, people were like, did you just start something here? How are you moving? Are you taking all of your equipment and everything? And I moved to Virginia, and my family, my closest family is 300 miles,
Right.
right? So like I only know a couple people down here, and everybody else is pretty much just strangers. So my team of people that would help me on my events are in New York. So I made the decision to leave it in New York and just kind of build it and just have whoever I can delegate help me with that. So to this day, I still do that. And I'm still as passionate about it. Even though this business, Luscious Kids, dominates my time, I'm
Mm-hmm.
still passionate about the event.
Yeah,
Rental.
I love that. That's so exciting. I love that. I just recently came across someone who does like the same things, and I just thought it was really fascinating because I throw events often, and I just never really thought about the people who supply like the things for the events as like a business for some reason. I never thought about it.
Yeah, it's a whole different industry. It's one thing I will tell you, it's very cutthroat because it's very competitive, right? It's very competitive. A lot of people are doing the event planning thing, and
Yeah.
yeah, you have to keep up with the times. You can't have old stuff. You can't be doing nothing old, and things are always changing. So it's definitely something. If you're passionate about and you're interested in doing it, you got to be on your T's, and you got to cross your T's, right, and dot your I's and be on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what is it that led you to creating Lush as Kids?
Luscious Kids is a solution to the problem I had. I had a problem with my daughter's hair. She had scalp irritation. We found out it was scalp psoriasis, and she was losing hair. So she had a lot of hair loss in the back of her hair.
Mm.
And this was probably when she was about 1 year old.
Uh-huh.
And I became a product junkie. I just bought any and everything. And even during that time, I was becoming natural. So everything that I was buying for myself, trying this natural journey, I was putting in her hair. And I was like, wait a minute, like, is this stuff even kid friendly? Like, I'm just throwing in her hair because I noticed you walk down the aisles. There's an oversaturation of natural hair products, yes. But when it
Mhm.
comes to kids specifically, they'll have like a small little shelf, and it'd be like it'd be like the parent company of the woman natural hair company that has like the kids line. It's
Yeah.
never something plant-based or natural, organic, just formulated for children.
Right.
So at that time, it didn't click to me that time. It was once I decided, I said, you know what, let me make something on my own. And I really just made it just so I could have her hair grow back, just so I could get her scalp not irritating her anymore.
Hmm.
And because she also suffers with eczema. So eczema and psoriasis, they kind of run hand in hand sometimes. So
Hmm.
she's itching on her scalp, she's itching over her body. And I was like, I need to do something. I want to find something that's natural, plant-based, because I'm Caribbean.
Yeah.
My mom has a ton of home remedies. Something in her drawer, something in the house is going to work for my child, right? So I researched it, and it said rosemary. Rosemary is good with growing back hair follicles. My parents, they had a little garden. Well, they have, not had. They have a garden the side of their house, and they have rosemary and thyme. So I pulled it up, dried it out, and I researched ingredients that grow hair back. And I put all those ingredients together in a mason jar, a huge mason jar, and I let it sit for 4 weeks, didn't touch it, air lid tight. And then after 4 weeks, I strained it, took everything out, all the ingredients, like over 15 ingredients I had in there. And I bottled it up, had so much, I gave it away. Still
Mm-hmm.
didn't click yet. Entrepreneur, still didn't click yet. And then rapidly accelerated growth. I started seeing it, people saying, and I was like, why stop here? Why stop here? And YouTube University will really give you ambition to go far and think you could do anything.
Exactly.
So I said, let me try something else. And I found a chemist, and next thing you know, I'm making the stuff myself. And I'm like, I'm doing this thing. I can do it. And from day one, my ambition was to go far. I said, I'm going to set it up like it's on a shelf in a store. I'm not setting it up like it's on Etsy where, the label is coming off. I want to do it professionally done because I want people to take me serious. This is the real deal.
Yes.
That is where it started.
I love that. So just to backtrack a little bit, what are like the symptoms of like scalp psoriasis other than like the itching? Like what does it look like? How do you know it's scalp psoriasis? How would somebody be able to identify that?
So with scalp psoriasis, because the difference between that and eczema is that it's something that's internal, right? So there are flare-ups with eczema, but with psoriasis, it'll be dry scalp, it'll be redness, it'll be like flakiness, right? And it'll be sores, sometimes sore if it's very severe. So her immune system is what caused it, not necessarily something irritated her or
Yeah.
that she's putting in her, but it was just something that was common within her that came out on her skin. So the red patches, the dryness, the scaliness, and then the hair would fall out.
Yes. Oh, poor baby.
So and it wasn't until, even though I was doing it for my daughter, I was like, she can't be the only one
Mhm.
that's having this. So once I started running the Instagram and posting, that wasn't really the story I put out, the psoriasis at that time, but I started hearing people comment, oh, my daughter has this, my daughter has that. And it was the same thing. And I was like, wait a minute. And I Googled something, and it says that a lot of minorities, a lot of Black children, a lot of Spanish children, they suffer with like psoriasis and scalp irritation and hair loss as a child. It's almost as if it's a stage they kind of go through.
Wow.
So I wanted to be able to create something that would help simplify wash day and every day, and also treat hair. So I guess for me, it's scalp focus, right? It's so nice to have all the nice curls popping, all that stuff,
Mm.
but your curls ain't gonna be popping for long if your scalp isn't healthy, right?
Right.
So let's get to the foundation. And when I came out, I was big on education. I was like, if we're gonna do this correctly, if we want to do it good, we got to do it correctly, right? And we got to do it right.
Yeah.
So I want to be a part of every consumer's hair journey. I want to walk you through it. I'm not just going to throw my products at you and just you figure it out. Because
Mhm.
most people, like, I'm noticing parents like, well, how you use it? And I don't want to be like, well, read the instructions. I'm like, no, let me walk you through it.
Mhm.
Because reading instructions is one thing, but when somebody's demonstrating something, then you get it. And a lot of people weren't understanding how to take care of natural hair.
I was about to say that too.
You
Yep.
know?
I was going to say that too because a lot of parents that are having these young girls, they've never even experienced dealing with their own natural hair, so it's like a
Come on
foreign
now.
thing.
Come
Yeah,
on now. Yeah.
yeah. It's
And
a
you touched on something that's so, do you know how deep that is? Because we so used to having perm hair. We
mm-hmm.
so used to having weaves.
Yep. I've seen it. I've seen it. I come
So,
from a different spectrum. I
um,
didn't realize it was like that until I got a little bit older because I come from the spectrum of like I've never had a perm. Like my hair has always been natural. So when I
nice.
started to grow up and see women kind of like, just talking about the natural hair journey, like the big chop and like just the things that they had to go through internally when they started to see their natural hair come out and they weren't used to it. It was like a foreign concept to me. I was like, wow, I had no idea that this was going on.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
that's so good. So even though you had your hair natural, let me ask you a question. Did your parents ever press your hair?
Every now and then, but it wasn't a thing. Yeah, I think I started doing that, like going to like the Dominicans when I got older a little bit, and
Mm.
then that was a thing. The all
That
the heat,
dryer?
yeah, that heat is serious.
Serious. Yeah.
So I don't
Intense.
have kids yet. Yeah,
Okay.
or I don't have kids. I don't even know if I want kids, but I don't have kids. I don't have kids yet, but
Listen
is
here,
there a
woman,
difference between the products that you should be using on children versus the ones that you would use on an adult? Like you said, you were using the products for yourself and your daughter. Should there be more products that are targeted to kids?
right. So one thing, like if you notice some bottles, they'll say like no silicone, no phosphates, no minerals. There's a reason it says that, right? So like I can't remember which ingredient it is, but there is an ingredient that's in certain adult version um, products, and that ingredient is a sulfate, and it's used to make antifreeze, right? So when you think of something so potent like that, why are people putting that in their hair?
Yeah.
So even though my products are like completely formulated for anybody's hair, meaning it's safe. If
Mm-hmm.
it's formulated for anybody, that means it's gentle for kids. So that's why I say formulated for children, because it's gentle for them, but anybody could use it. I use it in my hair. But I noticed that a lot of products are tied to something else in the commercial market that is not healthy. So I think when it comes to children, you can't just have any chemical in their hair, because obviously most times they're just born, right? Newborn babies or they're toddlers, and they're sensitive. They're more sensitive than us. Their scalp is more sensitive. Their skin is more sensitive. Just like when you're washing their clothes, you're not gonna just go right into washing Tide and using all stuff. You gotta use a gentle, fragrance-free, certain stuff, because their skin is very gentle.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when it comes to differentiating between children and adults, there really needs to be like children's section of hair care and
Yeah.
adult versions, right? Because even though your curls might be popping on your child, what exactly are you putting in your hair? And
Mm.
a lot of times something may work. Even if something worked, doesn't mean it's good for you, right? And people don't understand that. And if you know that, like even vegans say they won't eat meat, right? They don't eat meat, they don't eat dairy, because of how they feel about their body.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with hair. Like if you're going to take care of your body a certain way, wouldn't you want to take care of your hair a certain way, right? So I'm big on pushing natural ingredients, because especially botanicals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything that comes out of the ground, why not? you're
Yeah.
getting you're getting the straight nutrients and vitamins from that, opposed to something that's composed in a lab to
Mm-hmm.
give you the curl definition you need, right? So
Yeah, and I love that you were able to just go out to your parents' garden and pick the things that you needed, and still it didn't click yet as like this is a business.
did
But when
it
it did click, like how long did it take you from like, okay, I can make this a business to when you actually like launched the product?
so this is how I knew it was all God purposed, because August is when I officially like started coming up with the idea and stuff. August 2020.
Okay.
November is when I saw the accelerated growth, which brings us at 3 month mark. And I was like, oh, we doing this thing. So I started coming up with names and everything, right? So the concept came November 2020. And then March, I did a soft launch. So that's 6 months later.
Mm-hmm.
6 months later, I brought it to an audience and I did
Okay.
a mini kit. I wanted to test the market and I did mini kits. So every product that I had launched on my original date, the following July, I launched in small sizes, right? And it did well. And I was shocked that I was able to get my labels, my bottles. I made the product. I made the product. I still make the product. I make the product. I ship it from my house. I do everything. I am my operations,
Okay.
right? And I was surprised at myself. I didn't know I had that in me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that I could push something out from like day one to the last day on my own like that, without no knowledge. I didn't have a mentor at that time.
Yeah.
This is all gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If it felt right, I did it. If it didn't feel right, I didn't do it. So to answer your question, 6 months. six
Nice.
months. So I did the soft launch, and then the full launch completely to the public, selling online, was July of 2021 last year.
Wow. Wow. That is so amazing. Because
Thank
I know a
you.
lot of times when we do get ideas, we kind of like sit on it first. we want to do our research. And then it's like 2 years later, we still haven't done anything. But I like the action, the quick action behind what you did.
Thank you so much. It definitely was something that I couldn't shake. I
Mm-hmm.
just knew it. And even though I didn't know how it would turn out, because I'm a risk taker. That's just me, right? I'm Sagittarius. One thing about us is like we jump off the
Yeah.
ledge and figure it out later, right? Like we just ready and we go. And I was all into it. Like I was like, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much money, like I want to do this thing.
Yeah.
So I was determined and it was my ambition that took me to
That's
Atlanta.
Yeah. So based off of the data that you got from the soft launch and the mini sizes of things that you were doing, what was the
Yeah.
process for expanding the line after that, like choosing which products you were going to go forward with?
So I every product that I did in the mini kit, I did it on the actual launch because what I did do is I sold the mini kit together. So they were getting everything. So it wasn't like they could buy it separate, even though some of them wanted to, but they got it together. And I think that was great because they got to experience each product. I do believe that I wanted to focus. Every product I made at the beginning was hair care. I didn't want it to be any styling products because like I mentioned before, for me, I'm big on foundation. So let's get down to the root of things. Let's fix the hair first before we start getting to the styling, right? I want you to learn your hair. I want you to know your hair. A lot of these parents and moms mostly, right? A lot of moms didn't know their child's hair porosity. They don't know hair porosity. They don't know hair type because, like you said, most of them aren't wearing natural hair. They
Mhm.
probably heard the terminology, but don't really know and understand it. So I wanted it to just focus on what are the main things that natural hair needs, especially those that fall in the four categories. So four ABC, they need more moisture, right? They need more softness. They need more hydration. So every ingredient that I chose honestly are Caribbean based ingredients mainly because of, Jamaican heritage. So jackfruit, mango, guava, those kind of um, island ingredients really do have a lot of vitamin C, right? And vitamin C is antioxidants, right? Antioxidants, anti-inflammatory. So those were the key things that's going to help prevent scalp irritation. You need a clean scalp for hair growth,
Yeah.
right? How are you going to get this length that you desire if your scalp isn't treated properly?
Yeah.
So I waited. I just launched styling products this past summer. So I waited 1 year. I
Mhm.
waited 1 year from my start to do my products that are styling now. And now in total I have 10.
Yeah, okay. I love that. And I love the ingredients that you mentioned because I did see that you put jackfruit and I'm like, they doing everything with jackfruit now.
Yeah.
Like we just used to eat jackfruit, but now I'm
Yeah.
seeing jackfruit, the vegans are eating it, making like pulled pork and like
Yeah.
it's a hair ingredients. I'm like, they really doing something with this jackfruit
You
now.
can, yes. And you know what? I wanted to be different. I didn't want the same ingredients that you find in all 3,000 other brands on the shelf. I wanted something different. There's more to it than just shea butter. And there's no knock on nobody, but let's get down to the botanicals now, right? So yeah, that was my main thing.
Yeah. So you did e-commerce first and then you went retail.
Yes, yes. So I was able to go retail my first year, and that was such a blessing. I went retail locally in Richmond. I'm also in retail in the Sister Shop, which is a store dedicated to women entrepreneurs of color.
Hmm.
They have a store in New Jersey Mall and they have a store in Atlantic Mall in Atlanta. So I'm blessed to be a part of that. I'm also in a mall I'm in a mall in Annapolis, Maryland,
Yeah.
Blank Slate. And recently I just launched in LA. So that's what took me over there this summer at a beauty supply store. So I'm happy. I'm in two beauty supply stores, one in LA and one here locally. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That is amazing. What do people not know about what it takes to get into retail? Because it sounds like it's great, of course, because you can get your product out there, but I'm sure it's like a whole process or some things that to consider, to go the retail route.
Right. So the main thing about retail is your packaging,
Mhm.
your branding, how it looks. how it feels, the story you're telling. Most people will be hesitant on the retail side to take you if they don't think that your packaging is appealing, right? So for me, right now, I'm in boutiques. This is what we would consider boutique shops, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in a big box as of yet. I will be there one day, right? But as of now, when you do beauty supplies and you do like local boutiques, they still want your product to look a certain way. You have to have the barcode. You got to make sure there's certain stuff in place. You need your barcode. You got to make sure your logo is presentable. Your the words on the bottle people can read and not too small. So it really is about the appearance, right?
Right.
You got to show that you are selling, right? You have a little buzz going on. You don't have to have this great, outstanding um, social presence, but there has to be some type of growing, going and moving forward, right? So I think because I designed my website in a way where I want to bang with the elites, right? The heavy hitters. I want to present it because if I want to treat my own product as if I was a consumer, I always put myself in that position. How would the consumer want? They would want something nice and packaged. So to answer your question, it really is about the image you're portraying with your brand and the
Mm-hmm.
packaging. It has to be presented in a way that retailers would want to sell that and that they know consumers would buy it.
I love that. I love that. What are some people that you have to have on your team to take that next step to go the retail route?
Say that one more time.
What are some of the type of people that you have to have on your team to go the retail route?
Visionaries, creative directors, experienced people who've been there before me or know of the process.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something that I would want to dive in blindly,
Yeah.
right? Because what I'm hearing, because what I do is I try to attend a lot of webinars. What I'm hearing is that even though it sounds glamorous, there's a lot more to it that's not told on the front end,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets very cost and expensive.
Yeah.
So one of my main things is just focus on direct to consumer, focus on my website, focus on just selling it from me and sending it out to my customers. And when I get there and I'm able to grow a team and grow those experts that can help me, then we'll get there. But I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's,
I'm good.
yeah. What's the production like though? Being able to supply all of those different retailers now, and you're selling online. What does the production look like behind the scenes with you getting these products out?
So it's a bit crazy, right? Because I am a one person team. I do everything on my own. Sometimes I'll pull in my 13-year-old and he'll help me, but he's a mathematician, so he likes to help me when it comes to like my spreadsheets and knowing what ingredients. Oh, mom, you need to restock this. He's good with that stuff, but the hands on making it is all me.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually at first when I first started, I would go like nuts because like I'm like I have to make so much. So I do get backed up because I'm a one person, but I do will him in sometimes to help me. So with his help, we can manage it. We can
Yeah.
manage the flow. But I do let people know this is like it might take 3 to 5 days just to get your stuff packaged. You're in queue and all that. But the hardest work isn't the making the product. I think the most challenging work is the actual logistics, making sure the right customer gets the right things, everything is packaged properly, everything is documented. The logistics of how the handling, right? When they say
Mm-hmm.
shipping and handling, the handling part,
Yeah.
getting it out the door, getting it to the post office. I need to figure out now a way to bring all my boxes to the post office instead of like I have my daughter's stroller. I boxed up all the box in the stroller and I was rolling the stroller and they were just laughing at me.
Yeah, you
Like,
gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah. Listen, I just that was the first thing that I could think of at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I love that. One of the questions I always have, because I have a lot of business ideas, and I'm always in the habit of like, I don't have the money for this. Like, where am I gonna get the money to invest in? So, were you using like your own money to like fund this business, or have you gone into like grants and like other funding opportunities?
All bootstrapping all my money. And I I don't speak about this much, but I can speak about it now because I don't work there no more. I was working 2 full-time jobs during COVID, while I was planning my launch.
Wow.
So when I left New York, I never left my New York job.
Mm-hmm.
I lived down here in Virginia and I was working that thing. I was working New York job. I was working the Virginia job because I was determined. I was determined. I needed to use that income to fund my business and it worked.
Right.
And I was able to resign from that right after my launch, maybe a month or two after my launch. I was like, okay, now I need sleep. So I'm good to go. So it was all my money. Yes.
I love that. I love that. How does your background in the legal and finance industry like play a role in your business now?
It's very important. It's very key because I think the main thing is professionalism. When you're dealing with a lot of people in the network, a lot of vendors, suppliers, right? You have to display a certain level of professionalism, how you talk to people, right? How you keep things organized. And looking back now, hindsight, I realized I needed to be in the corporate world. I needed to be in the legal field because I think that helps shape my character and also shape my decision making.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do make my decisions, I know sometimes I think of, okay, remember that scenario when you were here, that job and that job? It all comes back full circle now. I'm experiencing certain things all over again, almost like deja vu,
Yeah.
but it was critical in my decision making now. I think it was definitely beneficial. Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. What is some of the testimonials that you've gotten, or like maybe like one testimonial that kind of like blew your mind and like solidified like this thing actually works aside from, your daughter's results?
Yes. Actually, it was one that I received in August. So that's like as recent as two months ago. I received a ton of oh, my hair's so much softer, my hair feels so longer and all this stuff. But it was this girl that this mom, she won LushUs products because she competed on a competition we had on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I want you to share your hair journey story about your child in the comment section. And she wrote this long story. And I was just like so intrigued by it because she said her daughter had like alopecia. And she was showing me the pictures and she used our products. And I kid you not, she used the products in April. She showed me a picture in the summer of August, and the entire bald spot was grown back. And I was like, wait a minute, that's my product. I'm still flabbergasted at like the results because I'm like, no way. And then there was another mom, her son's hair grew about 10 inches in 1 year. And
Whoa.
I have it posted on my Instagram. Blown away, blown away, and it's healthy and it's full. And I'm like, that's a boy. You know what I mean? So I love it. I get satisfaction when they're satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because if it's not working for them, I'm not doing something right. So I'm so glad I feed off of the feedback that I get from them,
Yeah.
whether it be positive or negative, but it's predominantly been positive. Thank the Lord for that. Obviously I might get somebody like, oh, it doesn't work for me, but that it might not work for them. That doesn't mean that a product isn't good.
Right.
There's a ton of products, I'm sure, on the shelves from a lot of brands that are really, really good. Everybody, you just have to know exactly what fits your hair type. Mhm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So when you decided to, launch this business and start producing these things in larger batches, was it hard to source your ingredients from anywhere? Was it hard to find like the vendor that you wanted to, keep those products flowing?
I think during COVID, there was a period of time when it was hard to find certain things. Like I'd go and make a purchase and then I'd go back next month and it's like out of stock. And I'm like, wait, when are you going to restock? And they didn't know. So making a pivot and changing my package is honestly the one thing I didn't want to do, but I had to. I had to do that for one of my products. I
Okay.
couldn't find the original bottle anywhere.
Oh,
So I opted to just get something out on Amazon, and it really wasn't the best, but I had to ship something out to somebody. I had to. I couldn't delay it. So I do notice that the supply chain was interrupted during COVID, and that was the only time. Everything seems to be back now, so I'm good. So I haven't had any issues now, but that was definitely a rough patch, maybe a 2-3 month span of not being able to get certain stuff.
right, right. Okay.
Mhm.
What's your least favorite part about running your business?
The least favorite part, honestly, is the stuff that you have to do on the computer, the behind the scenes stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm more like to be in front of people and talking to people about the brand. So like recently I've gotten to like the farmers market. So I enjoy doing that because I can speak. But when I have to sit down and have to do a spreadsheet, and sometimes I'm there for 2-3 hours,
Mhm.
and like I design my labels, I design some of my labels, I design stuff. So I'm like an Adobe Illustrator, and I'll be on there for like 2 hours on one thing. And I'm like, why am I doing 2 hours on this? Like, so that's the one thing that I don't like. But I've had to take ownership of certain things. Yeah, I could probably have it outsourced, but
Mhm.
right now I'm kind of like just doing everything
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, I saw on your website that you have an internship program as well.
I do,
How is
I
that
do. So
going?
I'm really passionate about young women, and I myself is an entrepreneur and mentor, right? Specifically entrepreneur mentor. So I mentor young girls coming out of college and showing them that there's a different route than going corporate.
Hmm.
So I wanted to implement my background and my interest in doing that with Luscious Kids.
Hmm.
Luscious Kids is a corporation. It is a company. Why not bring on specifically Black women, Black young women who would look up to me as a role model, right? And help them. So because I am in Virginia and there are a ton of all Black colleges, I I prioritize them, right? So even though I will do other colleges that are not necessarily HBCUs, my priority is the HBCUs
Yeah.
because I want them to get as much opportunities first and
Hmm.
foremost.
Okay.
So yes, so what I would do is I'd reach out to the career services department in certain colleges, and I ask them if, this is the job description, this is the internship, and I'll break it down. You're like, well, what does Luscious Kids need? We need product photography. Do you have a photographer? Do you have an entrepreneur? Do you have someone who's into public relations? I try to hit up every area of my business, and then I push that to the career services departments in those schools, because in addition to them doing the actual work as an intern, they're learning entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be just women. It could be boys too. But I mentor specifically a lot of young Black women.
I love that. Are these paid internships or these are like for the experience and for like their credits that they need for school?
Both, both. So they get the stipend, they get the credit, and they get the experience.
Yeah, I love that because somebody mentioned that to me before because like you, I don't know, is it a Jamaican thing? Like I'm a one woman show over here too. So
Mhm.
somebody had mentioned to me before, like you should probably reach out to the schools to, get an intern, but I never did it. I don't know why.
Try it. Try it. You'll
Mhm.
be surprised because a lot of the kids now, they need that exposure to before they get into the real world, and I know the importance because I never had that. Like I thought an internship when I was going to school was who your parents knew,
Mhm.
right? A lot of the interns ships that were available were going to Caucasian people. They weren't really going to Black Americans
Mhm.
at all. So I want to change that.
Okay. Let's have a little fun really quick. I have this segment called Never Have I Ever. Kind of like the
Okay.
drinking game, but of course we're not going to drink.
Okay.
So I have a never have I ever statement for you. If you've done it before or considered it, then share the story. But if not, give your advice to a parent who may be considering this.
Considering.
What I'm about to tell you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So never have I ever thought about perming my daughter's hair to make it more manageable to take care of. Have you ever considered that before? I know you're enjoying the episode, but I have something to tell you real quick. Did you know that I created a Patreon? Look, podcasting is fun. I absolutely love it, but it is not cheap. And there have been so many people who have reached out to me that want to support the show somehow and keep the good vibes flowing. So I thought, why not create a Patreon? For as little as $3 a month, you can support the Friends of Beauty podcast and join a community of other loyal supporters of the show, just like you, okay? There are other tier levels available that unlock tons of exclusive Patreon-only content like behind-the-scenes clips, bonus interview content, monthly calls with me, discounts, and so much more. But no matter what tier level you decide to choose, I appreciate you so much, and I'm going to give you a shout out on the podcast when you join. So, if you'd like to be a part of the exclusive Patreon community for the Friends of Beauty podcast, I'll leave the link right here and down below in the show notes for you to join. And as always, I appreciate your support so, so much. Now, let's go ahead and jump back into the episode.
No.
He said no.
No.
What advice would you give to a parent who is considering, perming or, chemically processing their child's hair in order to, make it, manageable?
I would highly suggest that they do a little bit more education and research on what exactly perming is. I think that's key. And it causes more damage than good, right? And I think that's the first place that I would definitely direct them. Just do a little bit more research, look into it a little bit more and see what are the pros and cons of that. And it's definitely more cons. So that would be my absolute advice.
Yeah, because I know one of the things with your brand is really like promoting, healthy, natural hair. Like, what were you taught about your natural hair growing up as a child? And like compared to like what you're teaching like your daughter now, or grooming her to appreciate and like love and embrace her natural hair.
So for me, when I was growing up, I remember I asked you the question about getting your hair pressed. So I got my hair pressed a lot, right? And even though I got my hair pressed, obviously I was sweating it out. So it went back to its natural state. My mom used to get her hair pressed. So she just passed that on to me. Back then, we didn't really have the education on natural hair type and that sort of stuff. So I had a lot of dots, grease in my hair. And even though I was getting the press, when I got old enough, I got a perm, right? But she didn't know how to nurture my natural hair, nurture my hair to learn what your curl pattern is, right? And I knew that once I got older and I started realizing my own natural hair journey, I didn't want that for my daughter, right? I wanted to change that. We have a ton of resources now that teaches us and shows us how we can rock our hair so beautifully, right? We can make our hair straight without putting heat to it, right? We could band it up. We could do all kind of stuff to straighten it if we desire that look, right? And rock our curls if we desire that look as well too, but we don't necessarily have to put chemicals in it. So that is what I've been trying so hard to drill, because one thing that I noticed is a lot of people tend to go to the perm, not just because it gives the hair straight, but they feel it's more manageable than just doing natural hair. Natural hair can be intensive, right? It can be time consuming, but once you got your routine down and you know what you need to do, you do your curl put and you do this, your mousse, you're good. But it's getting to that point. And I think there's a lot of frustration and people like, I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with my hair like that. So they tend to go to the perm. And probably that's what was my situation. My mom was just like, let's just perm your hair. Because she didn't know. But
like you said, it's a lot more education nowadays, definitely, about natural hair care. And just probably maybe there should be like more classes. I'm not sure, I mean, I'm not in the parent world, but just like maybe more classes with people actually learning how to use these products to care for their children's hair, or how to do the child's hair, because a lot of people don't know how to do hair too. I have a friend like that, actually. She doesn't know how to do hair at all. Like I used to do like her daughter's hair, and still do sometimes, like do her children's hair for her, because she doesn't even know how to do her own hair.
Oh no.
But she has girls, so I could see what that's.
Oh yeah, she got to, right? Eventually she's gonna have to.
Yeah. Do you have any tips on, because you have a lot going on, like balancing motherhood, your business, your job, and also taking time for yourself? Like, how do you do that?
You know what keeps me organized? Like a really good calendar, old school. I have a paper calendar, not just my phone, but I made it so in such a way, like how I organize my days. It has to be like a strategy, right? So when I'm most alert is when I find myself doing my most tasks. I'm most alert in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that I'm waking up. I start work at 5, but I find myself waking up 4:30, right? So I wake up 4:30, have my meditation time, and then I go into work. But I also have some spots of times where I can do other stuff that relates to my business, whether it's New York or whether it's here, because I'm working remote, and that has made everything so beautiful and come together because I'm remote. I can
Mm-hmm.
stay in my house and do everything, but structuring my day, if my day starts off crazy, it really just turns out that the rest of my day starts out crazy. So having structure is what allows me to really um, put things in order. And I made sure that I was getting rest and sleep, because when I launched, I wasn't sleeping because I had to do it. It was crazy, but
Yeah.
I was able to get to the finish line. But you're no good if you're not rested. You're no
Mm-hmm.
good if you don't sleep. You're no good if your life is chaotic. And
Yeah.
I always tell people and my mentees, what you do in your life outside of your business, character wise, it spills into your business, right? If you're not doing your follow-ups, you're not follow up with people, right? On a timely manner, you're not going to follow up with people in your business,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's certain things like that I check myself and I make sure. So structure,
Yeah.
absolutely, having structure is what helps me get through my day, and the most high,
Ye-
all him.
Yes, yes. And you're getting your PhD too.
Yeah, girl. It's been a long road, but yes.
Yeah. Do you have an exit strategy for your job, or you think you're going to continue to work and do your business?
My exit strategy is Lord willing, within the next couple years. The
Okay.
next couple years, I'll be able to continue to pour into my business, right? Because we're only 1 year now. So still young and still growing it. Once it's grown to a place where I know I can financially walk away and then take a salary, then yes, I'm going to step away. But as for right now, I'm pouring everything into my business and just save up until that point. But the goal is the next couple of years. Yes.
Yes. And I love that because one of the things that I'm learning for myself is like, what am I in a rush for? Like, I think a lot of times when we start things, start businesses, it's like we want to reap the benefits like right then and there. Like, this is a good idea, products are selling. I'm gonna quit my job tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because we just want it so bad. But I love that, you could pace yourself because these years go by so quick anyway.
They
Like 2 years
are.
is gonna be here before you know it, and you'll be collecting your salary. So I'm
Yes.
learning how to like pace myself and just enjoy the process, enjoy the journey of everything.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm just now learning that after like my 1 year mark.
Hmm.
Like it just hit me this summer. Like I'm so ambitious and I have so much going on that I wasn't really enjoying the days that I was actually working and hearing about my wins and experiencing life, because I was just concerned about, okay, I got to do this for tomorrow, I got to do this for next week. So I had to step back and say, let's take your time. If it gets done, it gets done. If it don't, it don't. And that is like my approach. I'm not going to kill myself. Be patient. Be
Hmm.
patient, even in the tasks that you have to get done, right? When you're waiting back for a certain call, you're waiting back to hear a final confirmation, yes, or whatever. That'll take your business to the next level. Just be patient. And I think knowing that knowing that this is going to happen and knowing that this is like all purpose, I am fine waiting. I've come to the realization that waiting is my best friend. I've
Mm.
come to it. I can't speed up time, right?
Yeah.
So in that time of waiting, I'm going to make sure I take care of myself, take care of my family, and take care of the business.
Yeah. Since you mentioned wins, like how do you celebrate yourself when you reach, those certain milestones for your business? Do you acknowledge it? Do you celebrate? How do you?
Absolutely. I've been one that, some people are like, oh, when you get your wins, don't tell everybody. I tend to tell a lot of people because I want to share that the milestones,
Hmm.
and I want to celebrate with people. So yes, absolutely, I will find a reason to do a semi turn up because of something, because I've worked hard. A lot of wins that everybody experiences because they put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
that work ethic, the fruit of your labor. And absolutely. So I celebrate every milestone. Obviously, there's certain things that, you keep mum on, but the huge wins, absolutely. Absolutely. And I always give it back to the Most High. I always let people know that it's his doing. Because like I said, I had no idea that I was going to be doing a hair care line. I had no
Right.
intention.
Right.
So I'm just really grateful and thankful. So yeah, I celebrate.
I love that. So, Cherlyn, what are you working on your legacy to be when it's all said and done? Like, what do you want people to say about you or like the legacy that you have left with LushUs Kids?
I want to leave a brand that I can pass on to my daughter. And I want it to be established in a way where it's a household name that parents can go to and know, like, this is a hair care line that when it was founded in my child's best interest, right? For not only for her or him to have healthy hair, but to grow it naturally and be proud to rock the coils, the kinks, right? The curls boldly in a society that pushes the alternative.
I love that. And the thing about us is like our hair is so diverse. Like how you mentioned earlier, the different things that we can do with it. Like
Yeah.
it's just the bomb.
I love it. I love it. And I love the direction natural hair is moving in,
Mm,
because this is not, I was talking to somebody before. I said I couldn't do this in the law firm.
right.
That was like 15
Not a
years ago. I
thing.
couldn't do this. They didn't even know, they probably wouldn't even know what this is, right? And like something like this, if I could do it, it had to be up. I couldn't wear it down.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's different now.
Yeah.
Now in the office,
Even locks.
so you could lock, they embrace it now because they know like the change has come in. There's the change of the guards now. Like, you're not gonna tell a woman that she can't wear her hair natural anymore, right? So I think I love the direction natural hair is going.
Yeah. And it's always been kind of strange to me that there's a problem with the way my hair naturally grows out of my scalp. Like it's not like I did this to myself. Like this is
Right.
how my hair is. So you have a problem with that? That's just always been weird to me. But even with the locks, the I think people just aren't used to seeing Black people with nice hair, like long
Yeah,
hair, healthy hair.
right.
The amount of questions I get about my hair, like, is it real? Oh, I didn't know your hair because my hair is like to my butt. So like they're like, oh, I didn't know your hair was real. I thought it was fake. Somebody recently, a white person told me that they thought it was a wig, honey.
Whoa, wow. Because they're not
No,
used to that.
it's
They're
not a
not
wig.
used to that.
Yeah, very interesting. But what's next for you in Luscious Kids?
So right now, Luscious Kids, we are focused on just building our brand right now. So the more exposure that we can get, the more that we can share our story to our consumers, right? And let them know that, look, we are here to help simplify wash day and every day and make your experience a positive experience with your child on those days.
Yes, I love it. This has been such a great conversation. I have enjoyed
I
this so much.
enjoyed it too.
I
I
enjoyed
loved
this
it.
so much. Thank you. But before you go, I have to ask you the Friends and Beauty rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So
I'm
whatever
ready.
comes to your mind first, just spit it out. You'll be great.
Okay.
All right. So the first one, what are the top three keys to your success so far?
My faith, my ambition slash drive, and my commitment to
Okay.
getting things done.
How do you measure your success?
I measure my success, hmm, looking back on previous times where I started, looking back at the starting line,
Mm,
how far I've come,
yeah,
how far I've reached. That's how I measure. So I take the time to sit back and reflect on where I started, where I came from, and where I'm at right now. That's how I measure it.
nice, nice. What's the best advice you've received or like a piece of advice that just always kind of stuck with you?
The best advice that's like fresh in my mind is something that I heard yesterday on a meeting that I sat in on, and it says that your business will go as far as your ambition. And that just hit me, and I was like, that's so right. As far as you're willing to go, ambition wise, is how far as your business can go. So that is something that I will never forget.
Yeah. I love that. What advice would you give to a parent right now who is struggling with, taking care of their child's hair? Maybe it's not growing, maybe they have, the same condition that your child had. What advice would you give to them because they're just frustrated?
The first thing I would do is tell them to find something that's natural, find a brand that's natural, Luscious Kids, but to first check to see what are they currently doing, what is the current hair routine, because the current hair routine might not be working. That's why the frustration is forming. And then educate yourself on your child's hair. What does it need? What it doesn't need? And then take it from there and then give them the products that their hair needs.
Yeah. Okay. And what's a resource that helps you in your business that you can share with the Friends in Beauty community?
New Voices family.
Yes. Okay.
I absolutely find them so resourceful because they have a ton of small Black business owners within the family that they advertise on their Instagram, they advertise on their Facebook, and I enjoy reading their wins.
I love that.
I
Okay.
enjoy that. Yes. New Voices family.
Okay. And the last one, I just want you to fill in the blank and just say, my name is blank. And the key to longevity and success is whatever you think it is.
Okay. My name is Cherlyn Carby, and the key to longevity is determination.
Yes, determination. I love that. I love that. Before you go, share your social media information and how you would like people to connect with you and Luscious Kids.
Sure. So my personal social media is Cherlyn Carby, at Cherlyn Carby, and Luscious Kids is at Luscious Kids, and our website is www.lushuskids.com.
Yay. Thank you so much, Cherlyn.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Friends in Beauty podcast. Don't forget, sharing is caring. Share this episode with at least one friend in beauty, and subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts so that other friends in beauty can find this show. Plus, we'd love to hear your feedback. Connect with us on all social media platforms at Friends in Beauty, hashtag Friends in Beauty to join the conversation, and join our Friends in Beauty Facebook community to stay connected. Talk to you soon.